Hey guys, Wild Willie here. It's kind of a answer to a question I got from regards to the last email there about Alexa and stuff. I teach my emergency home preparedness courses. One of the things I teach, this is one of the, as far as the power outage aspect to it, I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version of what I tell someone when I'm in their house doing their course for them. Doesn't matter what level of course I'm doing with them. The bottom line is there's basics you should know when the power goes out, and these are kind of a quick version of what we talk about. So here goes. If the power goes out and it's a storm, it's bad weather, you're expecting it to go out, there's a possibility it might go out, that's one thing. You still got to do preparations before and after, and we'll talk about that in a second. A bigger fear is when the power goes out and you don't know why it went out. The sun is shining, it's a nice day, it's a calm night. There's nothing unexpected supposed to be going on that would cause this, and the power goes out. So in either one of those situations, there's rules and steps you should take to find out what's going on, keep yourself safe and whatnot. Number one, even if it's a bad storm and you know the power's going out, there's a good chance it will. Ice storm, windstorm, whatever. Don't go outside. Lock your doors, lock your windows, close your drapes. And you do this because you don't want anyone coming in your house, you don't want anyone leaving your house, and you don't want anyone seeing in your house if you have power or they think you have power because you got backups on the go or whatever else. Don't leave your home. You'll see that especially in the summertime at night. If the power goes out after a storm, you'll see individuals walking around with flashlights down the street, letting the kids play on the front lawn, people going for a drive. You don't know if there's a power line out on your front lawn, down, or around the corner. Safety first for you and your family. Keep yourselves secured inside your home. That's number one. Number two, get the necessary items ready immediately. You should have flashlights throughout the house. Have, whatever you need if it's nighttime. Get whatever supplies you need immediately to keep your family safe. Get them all secured to one area of the home, one room, and say, okay, here's your flashlight, here's this, the power's out, whatever the case may be, deal with it. After your family is secure and safe, you have steps you should be following. Number one, it's your job to find out how big the outage is. The larger the outage, the more serious it's going to be. The more serious it's going to be, the more planning you have to start putting in place immediately. If you can look out your window at night and you can see the street lights on or the light pollution 2 blocks over, you know it's a small outage that's going to get taken care of. If the power goes out because there's a thunderstorm, chances there's a loose wire somewhere and it'll get fixed in a few hours. Ice storm a little more serious, tornado even more serious. But anyways, if you can't see lights off in the distance, especially at night, then it's time to do some things about it. One, get on your phone. Call neighbors, or not neighbors, call friends, call family, call businesses that are on the other side of your town, your city. Far enough away where, the power might be on, just to check if they have power. Best thing to do is call a business. Say, hi, are you open? Do you have power? Okay, great. And then you know the scope of the outage. If nothing's being done that way, if the power's out across your city, it's time for you to take bigger steps. This is where your crank radio comes into play, your battery-operated radio. Know your local radio stations in nearby cities. Where I am, I have 5 local radio stations in nearby cities. If the power's out in my city, I want to know if it's out in any of these other cities, and if it is, and which ones have power, which ones don't. That tells me 2 things. It tells me the scope of the outage, how large it is, for one. And 2, if I had to evacuate or I had to leave here to get medical help, I know which cities have power. I know which hospitals will be ready to take me if something happened. I know where I could get food, I can get gas. And on a side note for that, know what gas stations in your area, your local area, have generator backup. Some do, some don't. Some are able to pump gas for a short time after the power goes out, so figure out which ones they are. So that being said, once you know the scope of your outage, you can now listen to that hand crank radio. Have a member of your house listen to that hand crank radio for details of what's going on. Eventually it'll come out over the air that something major has happened, maybe something, how many people are out of power, what regions, how long it'll take before it gets back on. This will dictate your next steps. In the wintertime, this dictates, okay, now I got to worry about pipes freezing. What am I going to do about that? I got to worry about heating my home. What am I going to do about that? I have to worry about keeping my family warm while we sleep. What are we going to do about that? In the summertime, vice versa. How do we keep cool? How do we keep our food good? What steps am I going to take? It all depends how long this outage is expected or we think it might be. So those are just some of the things to look at, guys, some of the steps you should take, because in most man-made or natural disasters, a very common occurrence, whether it be snowstorm, ice storm, hurricane, tornado, a lot of times, whatever disaster is happening, could be some idiot hit a hydro pole not too far from your home. Whatever disasters are happening, whether it be local or not, can have an effect on you, and this power outage is the most common one. So that's something you got to deal with on most occurrences. So those are some of the steps you take. Anyways, guys, I'm Wild Willie, and I got to get trucking. And remember, it's not a question if the shit's hit the fan, it's a question of when. So always be prepared.